कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रजन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रजन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jai Jai Jagannath Jai Baladeva Jai Subhadra Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada की जय. उपज्ञातवृन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरौ श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवार्षभानवी देवी दयिताय कृपाब्धये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रवे नमः माधुर्योज्जल प्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपानुग भक्तिदा श्री गौरा करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्ते दीनतारिणे रूपानुगा विरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तद्वान्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षाद्वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बारसाम्बोधे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंदनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगावरायते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सज्जनप्रियः वैष्णवसार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्विषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते जयतां सुरतोर्पङ्गुर्मामन्दमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वापदां राधा मदन मोहनो दिव्य बृंदारण्यकल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थो श्रीमद्राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो दष्ट्रालिभिः स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भि वंशीवटतटस्थितः कर्षं वेणु स्वनिर्गोपीर् गोपीनाथः श्रीयस्तुनः तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे सर्वशास्त्राब्धि पीयूष सर्वैदेक सत्फल सर्वसिद्धांत रत्नाढ्य सर्वलोकैक दृक्पद सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवत प्रभो ललिद्वांतोदितादित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तित परमानंद पाठान्य प्रेम वर्षक्षरायते सर्वंदा सरसेव्याय श्रीकृष्णाय नमोस्तुते मदेकबन्धो मत्सङ्गिन् मद्गुरो मन्महाजन मन्निस्तारक मद्भाग्य मदानन्द नमोस्तुते असाधु साधुता आदाय नतिनीचोजु तारक अनामुंच कदाचिन्मां प्रेम्णा हृत्कण्ठयो स्पृहा. So we started the chapter, sixth chapter, where Vyasa, he starts asking a question. Sutta Goswami says, Evam nashamya bhagavan devarishir janma karmacha bhuya praprachatam brahman vyasaha saraswati sutaha, satyavati sutaha. Vyasa is son of Satyavati. He prapracha, he asked to Narada the question. What is the question? Vivaksha vipravashite. So when they left all those Bhikshubir, all the Vedantis, those spiritual masters of Narada in the previous life, they went, I want to know, what did you do? You were so young. Not only that, how did you spend the rest of your life? And not only that, I want to know that how did you give up your body? And ultimately, they wanted to ask, whatever you have done in the previous life, you still remember even now. We want to know, I want to know rather, how did you remember what all things happened in the previous life? And that way it is previous kalpa. It was not just this kalpa. The previous day of Brahma. The present day of Brahma is a 51st year, first day of Brahma. And what happened, this pastime, which is being discussed by Narada, Narada's previous life was in the last day of the 49th year, 50th year in one sense. 49 years of Brahma went away, and the 50th year, the last day, this pastime happened. Last day, last part of the last day. Previous kalpa, last year, last day of Brahma. And that too, if you see from the point of view of the living of humans, it was the last part of the last day. That is almost evening. Now, if you see what is the age of Brahma now, 51st year, birthday, 11:49, 11 hours have gone, and 49, almost mid. It is like seventh Manu going on now. Seventh Manu has gone means now the almost 50% is getting over. 14 Manus are there in one day of Brahma. So seventh Manu is going on, Vaivasat Manu. So after Vaivasat Manu, 12 o'clock starts a Brahma. If you say morning, say 6 o'clock of sunrise, 6 to 6 o'clock, so almost like 12 o'clock is noon. And just before 12 o'clock, this is what this Swayambhu Manu is going on now. So, of course, this time science is very elaborate. We'll not go into that. Then Narada, he says that when my teachers, they left, then my life was like this. I had only my mother in my life. And for my mother, I was the only person. So our attachment was very strong. And it so happened one day that she tried her best to take care of me, but could not, maid servant. But one day it so happened that everybody is under the control of the Lord. Ishasya vashe loke yosha darumayata. Like the puppeteer controls the puppet. The same way, we are all controlled by the Supreme Lord. And being controlled by time, what happened? My mother died. She went to take milk the cow, And the snake came and bit her, and she died. When she died, I thought, what did I think? Oh, this is all the plan of the Lord. I was just 5 years old. Uh, and I taught it as Anugraham Manyamanaha. What all things have happened in my life, especially, and now alone. I did not have a mother now, who was the only person to take care of me, whom the only person whom I loved, and she is not there. So Anugraham Manyamanaha. I accepted it this to be Anugraha. Anugraha means mercy of the Lord. Anugraham Manyamanaha Pratishtam Dishamuttaram. I started walking towards the north. Then while walking, I came through villages, the capitals, and so many farms, mines, gardens, all these different places I crossed. But none of the things attracted me. Narada was not at all attracted by any of these things. He crossed through lakes used by devatas. He crossed through dense forest. He's crossed through many sugarcane fields, and he crossed through jungles which are full of snakes, owls, and jackals. And then once it happened that he became very thirsty and very hungry. And then he saw a river there. And then Narada, the small boy, he just took bath in the river, and he drank some water and became relieved. He sat under the people tree, banyan tree, and then Atmanatmanam Atmastam Yatha Shrutam Achintyam. Achintyam, the Lord is beyond all the senses and mind. So that Lord who is Achintya, who is beyond my mind and senses, what did I do? I meditated on him as was as was taught to me. Yatha Shrutam, as I've heard from from the Vedantist, whatever they have taught, accordingly I meditated upon Lord. Then what happened? Jayatas Charanambojam Bhava Nirjita Chetasaha. When I meditated to the Supreme Lord, Bhava Nirjita Chetasaha, my whole heart was only like Bhava, devotion. Utkantyashru, my eyes was filled with tears of love. And what happened? Hridi Asin Me Shaner Harihi. Step by step, the Lord appeared in my mind. As soon as I saw Krishna, because I was filled with prema, prema tivara nirbhinna pulakangoti mirutha ananda samplavelino navashyam vayamune. And my limbs were full of goosebumps. And so much of prema was there. So I was so happy. Practically, I fainted in bliss. And I could not see myself, nor the Supreme Lord. Then, Rupam Bhagavato Yattan Manakantam Suchapalam Apashyan Sahato Sahaso Taste Vaikalva Drumanaiva. So, as soon as the Lord unmanifested from my heart, I became perturbed. I became like mad in separation from the Lord. Like a rich man, if he loses the money, he becomes totally crazy. In this way, I also become totally crazy because of separation from the Lord. Now, then what happened? For the purpose of seeing the Lord again, Tidrikshu tadaham bhuyaha pranidaya manohridi. I wanted to see Krishna again, so pranidaya manohridi, I concentrated my mind. Manohridi, in the heart, and then tried to see the Lord again. Vikshamano pinapashyan avitrupta ivaturaha. Vikshamana, I tried my best to see the Lord. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? But apashyan, I could not see him. So then I became dissatisfied. Apashyan avitrupta iva aturaha. Like a deceased person, I became very agitated. Evam yatantam vijane mamago charo giran. So then, Agocharo Giran, the Lord who cannot be perceived by the senses. And I could hear some sound, which was Gambhirya. It was very, very grave, at the same time, very soothing. Vachaha, Shucha, Prasamayaniva. It satisfied, it pacified my heart. It was a sound of the Lord. Lord is known as, the words cannot reach the Lord. That is why it is said in the Upanishads, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Yato vacho nivartante. The Lord cannot, the words cannot reach the Lord. They come empty-handed. Your mind cannot reach the Lord. It also comes empty-handed. It means no words actually can describe him. No mental speculation can actually make an idea, make some idea about him. But why did we describe about Krishna? If cannot, it is because of our purification. Actually, even if you want to describe Krishna, you cannot. Suppose somebody thinks, oh, I can describe Krishna, everything about Krishna. It is impossible. It is like the birds which fly in the sky. Some birds can fly up to some height. Some birds can fly to some height. Some birds can fly more. Like airplanes also. Some airplanes fly up to 10,000 feet high. Some 30,000. Some 40,000, like that. Rockets go still more higher. But nobody, neither the bird nor a rocket, can claim that I have reached that sky, limit of the sky. Nobody can claim. In the same way, when you describe Krishna, nobody can claim that I described Krishna, everything about Krishna. Nobody can claim that I have reached the conclusion of the Siddhanta and this is what Krishna is all about. Then somebody may say, if you really cannot describe it completely, why at all describe? Then, oh Lord, I am only describing for my purification. So what all descriptions we do about Krishna, Bhagavatam, we are speaking here, I'm speaking, you are hearing. It is all only an attempt to speak about Krishna, but it is not complete description of Krishna. We describe for our purification. And we do all the services not to benefit the acharyas, not to benefit Krishna, but for our purification. Yoginaha karma kurvanti kurvan atmashuddhayet. Atmashuddhi, for the purpose of purification, we are doing, we are hearing. If you really think we are glorifying Krishna, it is wrong. Because conditioned consciousness cannot glorify Krishna. We can only repeat what is there in the scriptures and what our acharyas are told. So one of the acharyas, Sri Vaishnava Acharya, says, oh Lord, my attempt to glorify you is actually making you dirty by my words. So then why are you attempting to glorify? Because, oh Lord, you are a mother. Sometimes the mother holds the baby and the baby passes stool and urine. Dirt is the mother. But for mother, it is not dirt. Because of her love for the baby, she doesn't consider the stool and urine passed on her body as dirt. The same, oh Lord, my glorification of you is actually throwing dirt on you because words are not fit enough to really describe you. That is your glory. But still I'm glorifying and throwing dirt on you because of the confidence that I am your son, I'm your baby, and you are my mother. And this is the only way I can purify myself. In this way, Ago Charo Giran, Mam Ago Charo Giran, Gambhira, Slakshanya Vacha, Shuchaha, Prasamayaniva. So it was so. Then what happened? Narada could actually see Krishna, smell Krishna, and hear Krishna. But two things are still pending. That is, to taste Krishna and to touch Krishna. That can happen only when Narada gets a Siddha Deha. Siddha means spiritual body. Now, Narada has only got now a body which is sadhana shape. It's called sadhana Deha. Siddha Deha means spiritual body. So this caused a lot of separation was there. Some relief was there, but still that longing was there. Now, what were the words which were spoken by the Supreme Lord? Avyakta. He was unmanifest. So the unmanifest Krishna spoke to Narada. He was not seen by Narada. Only words were heard. So what were those words of Krishna? That we are going to start from the 21st verse onwards. That is the subject matter from today. Krishna's words are they? These are Hantasmi Janmani Bhavan Mamam Dashtumiharhati Avipaksha Kashayanam Durdashoraham Kuyoginam. The Lord says Hanta. Hanta is actually an expression of love. Hanta, I am. Out of love, Lord tells Narada, because he's just a boy. Generally, small boys, Hanta, great love. He says, Hanta Asmin Janmani, in this birth, Asmin Janmani, Bhavan, you, Mamam Dashtumiharasi, you will not be able to see me anymore now. Avipakva, Ashayanam, Durdarsho, Aham Kuyoginam. I never give darshan to those who are kuyogi. Kuyogi means those who are not practicing Krishna consciousness properly. Those are called kuyogis. And that means those who have got a lot of lust, anger, greed, and so many contaminations in the heart. My darshan is not available for those people, Krishna says. Because they are avipakwa. They are not really ripened in Krishna consciousness. These words are spoken by Krishna to give encouragement to Narada. He says, Narada in speech says, oh small boy, he was a small boy. See, you had my darshan once. That itself shows that you are not a kuyogi. Because if you had been a kuyogi, then you would have not even had darshan of mine. The very fact that you got darshan itself shows that you are a good devotee. Be encouraged. Don't be dissatisfied, discouraged. Don't be discouraged of not having darshan of me again. Rather be encouraged that you had darshan at least once. So, Krishna is encouraging Narada by these words. Now, Srila Prabhupada's purport to 21st verse. Supreme Personality of God is described in Bhagavad Gita as the most pure, the Supreme Personality, Supreme and the Absolute Truth. There is no trace of a tinge of materiality in his person, and thus one who has the highest tinge of material affection cannot approach him, the slightest tinge. So Krishna is pure, and no impure person can actually approach Krishna, can see Krishna in the heart. So as long as these two modes are there, mode of passion, ignorance, very predominant, we cannot have darshan of the Lord. So the result is exhibited by the signs of being freed from kama and lobha. Kama, lobha, they stay. Srila Prabhupada talking about. To the extent your kama and krodha going down, to that extent you become more and more qualified to have darshan of the Lord. Now, Srila Prabhupada gives example. By his activities, he has engaged many devotees in Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, and many others in transcendental service of the Lord. So we know that how Narada association was not only given here to Vyasa, he gave it to Dhruva Maharaj, he gave it to Prahlad Maharaj. In this way, by following the footsteps of the great devotees like Narada and Prahlad and say engaged the whole time in glorifying the Lord by process of Kirtan, such a preaching process is transcendent to all material qualities. So Srila Prabhupada talks about how the association of devotees and following the footsteps of the devotees will give the highest perfection. Now, going further, in 22nd verse. Sakradya darshitam rupam yat etat kamayate anagha. Now, okay, why you give darshan at all in the very first time? Why you brought him to such a situation? I was living peacefully. I was eating some sukha chapati and some sabji. And you jabardasti gave rasgulla, gulab jamun and all. One day you give, other day you did not give. Earlier I was sukha chapati and sabji, I was happy. You gave rasgulla, made me taste the highest thing, and then again took it away. That is making me more degraded. Why did you do that? Oh Lord, you first gave your darshan. You took me the highest ecstasy and you just removed your darshan. I could not have darshan, I cannot have darshan anymore. And you made me suffer, feel the separation from you. Why did you give darshan at all the first time? Then answering that question, Narada, the Lord says, Sakrit darshanam rupam. Sakrit, little bit darshan I gave you. Etat kamaya te nagha. Because I want to create a desire in you to achieve it. Kama sanakai sadhu sarvan munchanti richayam. Because that separation from me, which actually clears you from all kinds of dirt. All the contamination in the heart is removed by the experience of separation from me. The heat of separation burns all the material desires. Of course, Narada, he had no material desires, no hritchaya at all, because he already attained prema. But the Lord is actually making Narada very humble. At the same time, he is instructing to all of us that unless you develop separation from me, Vairagya will not come. Vairagya requires extreme love for Krishna in separation. Like, give a small example. Love in separation from Krishna, how it gives you Vairagya. Let us take a little example. A small boy, now he wants a toy. And the parents have not purchased the toy for him. And he starts crying in separation from the toy. I want it, I want it, I want it. Oh, I starts crying. You did not purchase me. He's experiencing separation from the toy. At that time, the mother, with great love, oh, beta, oh, take this ice cream. He just says, no. She says, oh, eat this rasgulla. No. He likes rasgulla. He likes ice cream. But still he says, no. Why? Because he is experiencing separation from the toy. So, the experience of separation from the Lord, that is actually burning the heat of separation, the heat experience in the heart in separation from Krishna, that actually burns all the material desires. That is why the Lord, he actually gives a toffee to us. In the initial days of Krishna consciousness are like this. Krishna appears. Sometimes you chant, your tears are rolling down. And after 4 or 5 years of Krishna consciousness, you find where are those tears gone. That is why our whole philosophy is to cry for Krishna. Nayanam galadashudaraya vadanam gadgadaruddhayagira. Crying in separation from Krishna is a Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. Now, if you are not able to cry for Krishna, you cry that you are not able to cry for Krishna. Ultimately, your philosophy is crying only. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is actually crying for Krishna. Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj told, I opened a school. I did not open a temple. I opened a school where we're going to teach you how to cry. Cry for Krishna. Cry in separation from Krishna. Because crying in separation from Krishna, when I'm going to have darshan of Krishna? Oh Krishna, when are you going to show me your darshan? Oh Krishna, when I'm going to chant Gauranga Bulite Obe Pullaka Sharira, Nayana Babe Nira, when it is going to happen? When? This word is very, very powerful word. If you want to summarize the entire Krishna conscious philosophy in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaudiya Vaishnava line, you just remember 2 syllables. Ka, da, that's all. Very simple words. Ka, da, kada. Kada means when. Kada tava nama grahane bhavishyati. When. Kobe hobe akuti. Kada is Bengali is Kobe. Kobe hobe akuti. Dadati swa padantikam. We chant this mantra every day, Rupa Goswami. Dadati swa padantikam. Oh Lord. When Rupa Goswami is going to give me nearness to the lotus feet. Sri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Maiham Dadati Sapadantikam. Kada Maiham. So this word Kada is a very, very powerful word. It is that word Kada takes you back home, back to Godhead by burning all the contamination in the heart. Just experience this Kada, when it is going to happen. Rupa Raghunatha Pade Kobe Hobe Akuti. When I am going to develop attraction for the lotus feet of Rupa and Raghunath, lotus feet Pada also refers to lotus feet also refers to the words of Rupa Raghunath. So when I'm going to attain affection, the love for Rupa Raghunath, when I'm going to read, even if you're not able to read, when I'm going to read, when I'm going to chant, when I'm going to have darshan of the Lord, this lockdown is there. So when I'm going to have darshan of Krishna, that actually is darshan of Krishna. That burns. Actually, when there's a strong separation experience, that actually makes you Krishna conscious. The only way to become Krishna conscious in this world is to actually experience the separation from Krishna. Anyhow, you can speak so much because everything is separation from Krishna. So it says, Mat Kamaya, Mat Kamaya. You simply desire me. Then what happens? Uh, in a strong desire to attain me, then what happens? Munchanti richayam. All the richaya, all the contaminations in the heart are completely burned because of a strong desire to attain me. So the Lord says, oh Narada, I specifically gave first darshan to you just to create that separation from you, which will destroy all your sins. It is not that Narada had some sins in the heart. It is only to bring uh, about some humility in Narada, and to bring about already whatever prema Narada had to, it had to bring up. It is only instruction to us, but he is using Narada to give instruction to us. Next, Prabhupada says in the purport. Material service has a situation, whereas spiritual service of the Lord has neither situation nor end. One can go on increasing his anchoring for the loving transcendental service of the Lord, and yet he will not be satisfied, find satiation or end. By intense service of the Lord, one can experience the presence of Lord transcendently. Therefore, seeing the Lord means engaging in his service, because his service and his person are identical. The sincere devotee should go on with sincere service to the Lord. The Lord will give proper direction as to how and where it has to be done. There was no material desire in Narada, and just to increase the intense desire, the Lord made this arrangement. Now, Krishna goes further. He says, Satsevaya adirgyapi jatamai dridamatihi hitvavadyam imam lokam kanta majjanatamasi. Oh Narada, this kind of love, what you achieved now, it is not because of me also. It is because of Sat Sevaya and Adhirgyapi. Not much time. You did not serve Vedantis for years and years. It was only 4 months. Jata Mai Dridamatihi. So, where did this mati which you have for me, Dridamati, will take birth? It took birth in you doing service to the Vedantis, to the devotees. So if you want to have strong mind engrossed in Krishna, serve the devotees. Serve the devotees. To the extent you serve the devotees, to that extent your mind will be fixed in Krishna. That is what is described. Shushrusha Shaddanasya Vasudeva Katharachi. And when Prahlad Maharaj says, Matirna Krishne Paratasvato Va Mityo Vipadyeda Harvatanam Ranta Govirtam Vishadam Tamishtam. Though so many verses Prahlad Maharaj says, he says, Mahatpadarajo Vishekam. Yavat, as long as you don't have Mahatpadarajo Vishekam, till then you will not be able to give up your material desires. It is only by Nishkinchananam Rinita Yavat. You find out a Nishkinchana and then take the blessings of him and then take the dust of his lotus feet on your head, then this kind of mati will be on you. You cannot have by your own endeavor, Paratas Svatova, by somebody else trying to inject some kind of Krishna consciousness into you, or you trying to by your own self. It's not going to happen. It's only by the Nishaiva, by serving the devotees of the Lord. who are completely considering Krishna as the only asset. So Nishkinchanas, they are the people who actually give you that kind of mati. So Sat Sevaya Dirgayapi Chata Mai Dramatihi Kitva Imam Lokam Ganta Majjanmatamasi. Now, then what is going to happen? Hitva, you're going to give up this avadyam lokam, this low body. Going to give it up. And you come up to Majjanatamasi. You'll come back to God, to my abode. Then Srila Prabhupada says that serving the absolute means rendering service to the absolute personality of God under the direction of bona fide spiritual master, who is transparent via medium of the Lord and neophyte devotee. The neophyte devotee has no ability to approach absolute truth, absolute personality of Godhead, by the strength of his present imperfect material senses. And therefore, under the direction of spiritual master, he is trained in transcendental service to the Lord. And by such training, even for some days, the neophyte devotee gets intelligence in such transcendental service. So, by practicing Krishna consciousness under the guidance of spiritual master, it actually gives intelligence by which you can transfer yourself to the spiritual world. Now, going further, 24th verse. Matirmai nibadhyayam na vipadyeta karhichit praja sarga nirodepi spritircha madanugrahat. Now, there Vyasa asked one question. The question which is asked by Vyasa was, how did you remember Prag Janmani, which happened something in the previous life? Then the answer is because of mercy of Krishna. Krishna says to Narada, Matirmai nibadhyayam na vipadyeta karichit. Whatever intelligence you got now, na vipadyeta karichit. By any amount of time, this will not be lost. And praja sarge means in the next creation also, nirodhe, even in the annihilation also, api smritir cha mat anugrahat, your memory will be very strong by my anugraha, by my blessings, it will be very strong. So, Prabhupada again starts in the purports that devotional service rendered to the personality of Godhead never goes in vain. Since the personality of Godhead is eternal, intelligence applied in his service or anything done in his relation is also permanent. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that such transcendental service rendered unto the personality of God accumulates birth after birth. And when the devotee is fully matured, the total service counted together makes him eligible to enter the associate personality of Godhead. Such accumulation of God's service is never vanquished, but increases till fully matured. So, a little bit done. Neha Vikramanasosti Pratyavaya Vidyate Swarpam Pisa Dharmasya Traito Mahato Bayat. So it goes on further. Now, next verse, 25th verse. Etavadutpo utpo pararavama tadmahat tanmahat bhutam nabholingamalingam aham cha tasmai mahatam mahiyase Shri Rishan Vanamam Vidate Nukampita. So, Etavaduktva, after speaking like this, Krishna, Upara Rama, he stopped, and Tat Mahadbhutam Nabhaolingam Alingam Ishwaram Aham Cha Tasmai Mahatam Mahiyashe. Then Narada says to Vyasa, the supreme authority personified by the sound and unseen by the eyes, but most powerful, start speaking. Feeling a sense of gratitude, I offer my obeisances unto him, bowing my head. Shirshni, by my head, what did I do? Pay my obeisances. Avanamam vidate anukampita. Then I thought, the Lord has given a special favor unto me. So after doing this special favor unto me, what he has done, he has done special favor unto me. That is, he showed me his form, and he made me hear his sound. and he pacified my agitation which was going on. So I paid my obeisances to him. Mm. Now, who is that Lord? He's been described here as uh, Nabhalingam, Mahadbhutam, Nabholingam, Alingamishwaram. There are some special words which are used here. The Lord is Mahadbhutam, is wonderful. And not only is wonderful, but he's Nabholingam. He's actually sound personified. Uh, and not only that, he is Alingam. He doesn't have any form, or the material eyes cannot see his form. Ishwaram. So these are the words which are used for describing Krishna in these words. Purpose is the purport. The personality of God, it was not seen but only heard, does not make any difference. Whether you see the Lord or hear the Lord, both same. The personality of God, it produced the four Vedas, that means breathing, and he is seen and realized through transcendental sound of the Vedas. Similarly, the Bhagavad Gita is a sound representation of the Lord, and there is no difference in identity. The conclusion is the Lord can be seen and heard by persistence chanting of the transcendental sound. Mahadbhutam asya mahato bhutasya nishvasitam etadyadrigvedo etadyadrigvedo. So here the word which is used as Mahadbhutam refers to the Lord from whom the Vedic literatures are manifest. That means the Vedic literatures are non-different from the Lord. They are non-different from the Lord. So it's in the breathing and Ishwaram. Why is he called Ishwara? Because in spite of Narada being such born in low family, in the same life he could attain the spiritual life, spiritual body, Sachitanand Vigraha. How? Because of the special mercy of the Lord. He can do anything. And Nabholingam, because Nabaha Linga, he can be realized by sound, though his form cannot be really seen. Nabholingam, he has a form of sound, and though he is not visible to the eyes, he can be visible to us through ears. You can see Krishna through ears. So that is what is the purport of this verse. That means Narada realized this thing. I can see Krishna in sound. So if you are able to see Krishna in the sound form of Krishna, then that is perfection of Krishna consciousness. The sound form of Krishna is Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. That is why Bhagavatam is also Brahma Samhitam, Idam Bhagavatam Nama Purana, Brahma Samhitam. It is actually Krishna. So one has to see Krishna through the ears. If you are able to see Krishna through the ears, that means actually you are seeing Krishna. If you want to see Krishna through the eyes, then you will be cheated. Nice story. Once somebody came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and started saying, Mahaprabhu, Krishna is giving darshan to everyone in Keshi Ghat. Everybody is able to see at night. Krishna does rasa dance. Then Mahaprabhu slapped and told, how can Krishna give darshan kari? You don't know scripture or what? It is fisherman boat moving up and down, and there was lights there. People are thinking Krishna is dancing. Kaliya dance is going on in Yamuna. No. So don't try to see Krishna. You hear about Krishna and serve Krishna in such a way. Krishna wants to come and see you. So a very nice story. Interesting to know this and quote it. Once Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was giving Bhagavatam class, and many sannyasis were also sitting. And in the Gaudiya Math, there's two different halls. One is where you can only have darshan, other is for the place you can have pravachan. Now what happened? The pujari, class was going on, the pujari came, blowed the shank, the time altar was opened. Few sannyasis had come and sat in the class, but they had not had darshan of the day. So they stood up in the class was going, 4 or 5 sannyasis. They went, had darshan with great love and affection, paid obeisances, came back and sat in the class. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur saw them and told, had darshan? Had darshan? They were completely shocked. He thought, what is this sarcastic way Krishna Thakur was talking? Then Krishna Thakur started exploding himself and said, what you went and saw, do you think you can see Krishna by these material eyes? No. You only had exercise of eyes. Actual seeing Krishna can only happen through the ears. I'm actually speaking about Krishna so that you can see Krishna, and you're not hearing and trying to see Krishna by your own strength. This way, he told, try to see Krishna through your eyes, the ears. Eyes are, uh, eyes cannot actually see Krishna. So this is the purport of this verse. Now, going further, 26th verse. Beautiful verse. We'll do this verse and then take question answers. Namanyanantasya hatatriptapatam guhyani vadrani kritani chasmaran gamparyatam stushtamanagataspriha kalam pratikshan vimado vimatsaraha. Namanyanantasya hatatriptapatam guhyani vadrani kritani chasmaran gamparyatam stushtamanagataspriha kalam pratikshan vimado vimatsaraha. Namani anantasya hatatriptapatan. What did I do after this? Gam paryatam. I started walking. Which direction I walked, where I was not knowing. But only thing I just went on walking. How? Nama anantasya hatatriptapatam. Namani anantasya. I went on chanting the names of the Lord. Just went on chanting names of the Lord. Anantasya hatatriptaha. What is the meaning? I just did not bother about any social formalities. What will people think about me? If you really want to chant the name of the Lord, forget all social formalities. In one sense, you become shameless. Without becoming shameless, you cannot attain Krishna. That is what Rukmini says. Hatatriptavatam apatrapam me. I become shameless. Because a young girl, Kshatriya family, daughter of a great king, now she is writing a love letter to a person who don't know whether it's Kshatriya, Vaishya, Yadava, what, nobody knows. Is Kshatriya Yadava, is a Krishna Yadava, is a Kshatriya, nobody knows. To such a person, she is writing a love letter and sending in the hand of a Brahmin. She did not find anybody else to send. Brahmin taking the letter and going to Krishna. Love letter. Then Krishna may say, you're shameless to write such a letter. How can I accept you as my wife? Then Rukmini says, yes, I become shameless. So even if gopis met Krishna because they gave up shame, gave that lajja. So if you're still having some social hindrances, social norms, they're actually not norms, they're hindrances. To become carefree. The devotee is not careless, it's carefree. And he goes on chanting. Guhyani vadrani kritani jasmaran. Ignoring all kinds of formalities, such chanting and remembering the transcendental pastimes, Lord, are very much Badrani. The pastimes of Krishna, when you go on constantly remembering, they are known as Badrani. They are beneficial for everyone. Gambaryatam stushtamanaha. Fully satisfied. Not that I'm roaming around because of some kind of hankering is there. No hankering, fully satisfied. Tushtamanaha. Gataspriha, without any material desires. Now, most important, just imagine it. People are trying to save their life, being very much afraid of death. They are fearful of, oh, death should not come, death should not come. Nobody waits for death. But Narada, his life was so wonderful. Kalam pratiksham. Kalam pratiksham means Narada tells Vyasa, I had only one thing to wait for, death. When I am going to die, when I am going to die, when I am going to die, I can meet Krishna. So as soon as Corona came, we became so afraid of death. We don't want it. That is why we are afraid of it. Whether you want it or don't want it, it's going to come one day or the other. But here Narada is actually waiting, when I am going to die, when I am going to die. Oh, death, please come fast, I can go. Same mood of Kulashekar Alvar. Kulashekar Alvar, he thinks about death. What is going to happen at the time of death? Kapha pitta vati. So kapha pitta will be choking the throat. Krishtattvadiya padapankaja pancharantam adhaiva me vishatu manasa rajahamsa prana samaye kapavada vittaihi kantavarodana vidau sparanam kutaste. Kantavarodana vidau sparanam kutaste. Because of kapha pitta vata, it may happen at the time of death, I am not able to chant your name. O Lord, let my mind entangle in the network of your lotus feet. That means I just want to leave my body. Adhyevame vishatu manasa raja hamsa. So here, kalam pratiksham. Oh, when I am going to die, when I am going to die. Because after death, the Lord has assured him. What did he assure? Immediately after you leave the body, you are going to come back to me. Majjanata nasi. So Narada was very anxious to die because once he leaves the body, he's going to go back home, back to Godhead. So eagerly waiting to die. That's actually Sadhu's life. Sadhu is actually dead, or is just waiting for death. Waiting for death is also like death only. That's called Sadhu. What else is there to accomplish in this world? Anyhow, you may die any time, so wait for it. It's inevitable. Death is inevitable. Inevitable. Just wait for death. Just for one day you practice. You are living for one day waiting for death. Then see how relaxed you are. Just chant. Chanting with this mood of waiting for death. Yeah, please, oh death, come, please take me. Just everything in the mind is gone. Only Krishna and you. There's a kalam pratiksham. Vimado, vimadaha, without having any pride. What is there to be proud of? Vimatsaraha, without enviousness. So, very beautiful verse. Namanantasya hatatripta patam kuhyani bhadrani kritani chasparan kam paryatam sushtavanagata spriha kalam pratikshan vimado vimatsaraha. Let me read the purport. The life of a sincere devotee of the Lord is explained. What a beautiful sentence. Life of a sincere devotee of the Lord is explained in a nutshell by Narada Muni by his personal example. So Narada Muni, by his personal example, he is actually telling us what actually being sincere means. What actually means sincere? That means you're just waiting to go back to Krishna. Give up the body and go meet Krishna. That's called sincerity. Such a devotee, after his initiation by the Lord or his bona fide representative, takes very seriously chanting the glories of the Lord and traveling all over the world so that others may also hear the glories of the Lord. Such devotees have no desire for material gain. They are conducted by one single desire, going back home, back to Godhead. This awaits them in due course on quitting the material body. Because they have the highest aim of life, going back home, back to Godhead, they are never envious of anyone, nor are they proud of being eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. Their only business is to chant and remember the holy names, fame, and pastimes of the Lord, and according to the personal capacity to distribute the message of others' welfare without motive of material gain. So this is a wonderful purport. Actually, the life of a devotee, in a nutshell, if you want to know, this is what. Live like this, then just see. Anandambudi Vardhanam, Anandambudi Vardhanam. Ananda has no limit. Why, in spite of all the chanting, we have so many kleshas? Just because we don't follow this verse. Gam paryatans tushtamanaha gataspriha kalam pratiksham. Most important. Waiting for the Lord. The more you wait, when I am going to go to Krishna, when I am going to Krishna, when I am going to achieve. Actually, no, you are not living in this world. You are not living in this plane because you are always waiting. That is what this verse says. Tattenu kampa susamikshamano bunjanamevatmakritam vipakam. Bunjanamevatmakritam vipakam. Rigvabu virvidham namaste jivet yumukti pate sadhai vak. So in this verse also talks about waiting. Intazar. Everybody is waiting for something or the other. A businessman waiting for the lockdown to get over. And somebody has given the exams, he's waiting for the results. And somebody is waiting for getting married. Somebody is waiting for getting divorced. Everybody is waiting. Whole life is spent waiting for something to happen. Everybody is waiting for something to happen. But there's one thing which is going to happen. Definitely, nobody's waiting for that. That is death. Death is the only thing which is definitely going to happen. And you are waiting for everything which may happen, may not happen. So intelligence is to wait for something which is definitely going to happen. Death. Of course, you don't want to take birth again. So chant Naman Anantasya Adataptapatam Grihyani Vadrani Kritani Chasmaram Gam Paryatam Stushtamana Gataspriha Kalam Pratiksham Vimado Vimatsaraha. Kalam Pratiksham, wait. Vimado Vimatsaraha. Wait for the death. So we stop here for the first session and we can take some questions. Already some question is there. As you said initially, I got taste, but after a few years it is not there. Why don't I develop hankering? And hankering is not intense. Oh, why don't we develop hankering? Initially taste was there. Now the taste has gone and I did not develop hankering. For Narada, initially he saw Krishna. He developed the taste for seeing Krishna. And then after that, hankering developed. And what is missing is hankering. I don't have Narada developed. That is why Narada developed spiritual body. I did not. So now we have identified the problem now. That is, initially when you joined the movement, Krishna consciousness movement, as a Grahastha or a Brahmachari, that is different. Oh, remember the initial days of Krishna consciousness. Always. Always remember the initial days of Krishna consciousness. If you want to continue in Krishna consciousness, remember the initial days of Krishna consciousness. It's very important. Now, why Narada did develop hankering? Why we did not develop hankering? If I tell you one reason, pinpointed reason, it is this. Because you thought you became a senior. That is a problem. I'm senior now. 4 years, Prabhu, 10 years I've been practicing Krishna consciousness. That is a problem. That is why when I joined ISKCON, just before I joined ISKCON, as a full-time devotee, of course, full-time, half-time, quarter-time, it doesn't matter. Become a devotee. Then I was able to give the job and then join the movement. One of my Siksha Gurus, I went and asked him, I'm joining, please give me some tips so that I can be throughout life serving the movement. Then he told, oh, you're joining ISKCON. I'm going to give you some special tip. He told me, rejoin ISKCON every 6 months. Rejoin ISKCON every 6 months. Because when you joined ISKCON, You saw everybody as a pure devotee. Everybody is pure devotee. You did not see, oh, he's like this, he's like this. Oh, I know him very well. He gives pravachan, but he does. I know him very well. What all he does. You never thought that. Even an ant in the temple was a pure devotee for you. Even a mosquito in a temple was a pure devotee. You would not kill the mosquito. When you paid obeisances in the temple, when you got up, mud was there on your head, on your matha. Tadvarshatuulidavalam tadvarshma tadvaishiras tene tatamasojite suruchire yabhyam hare darshate. Purashekaral says, loftiest head is that head which the mud is there on the forehead by paying obeisances down to the Vaishnavas or the Supreme Lord. But now, when you pay obeisances, you make sure that mud doesn't touch your head because you become a senior now. Now, people have to pay obeisances to you, you should not. So if you pay obeisances, you become junior. That is the problem. Pride. That is why Narada, if you see, Badrani Kritani Jasmaram Gam Paritatushta Manaha Gataspriha Kalam Pratiksham, waiting for death. So, Krishna consciousness is Krishna. Krishna is Navayavanam. Krishna consciousness is Navayavanam, and never become a senior. That is the biggest problem. If you become senior, problem starts. Become senior, don't think you are a senior. So always be in the same consciousness when you join the movement. For that you have to join again. So join again and again. Always be a new devotee. Because when you are a new devotee, you're willing to clean the bathroom. When you're a new devotee, you're willing to clean the toilets, and you're willing to serve the Vaishnavas. And every class, you're just sitting in front of the speaker as if you're just going to jump into the speaker's consciousness. And like very enthusiastic hearing. Now when you become senior, gradually go behind and takes it like this. When the class is going to get over. Because you're a senior now. So all the problem starts when you are a senior. So don't become a senior. Always be junior. Always be new. So this is how I can answer. Because when you're new, you're always hankering, when I'm going to become senior? When I'm going to really senior? When I'm going to go back to God? You're chanting the beads out. When you're new, we are just chanting our beads out in the sense that the enthusiasm. The dancing was so enthusiastic. It's all because of what? When you are in the beginning, you never bothered who is there in the temple, who is not in the temple. You're only bothered, Krishna is there, I am there. So, what a glorious days those were. So, rejoin those days. That is what I can tell you. Now, our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy is love in separation to cry. Other sampradayas don't they have this utkantata, crying? Don't they have this feeling of hankering to have darshan of Krishna? Or is that in the pure stage, the Vipralamba is the exclusive contribution of Gaudiya, not achievable by other sampradayas? From a sadhaka point of view, if he is told that your goal is Vipralamba, not Sambhoga, then to him Sambhoga is pleasing, as the Vipralamba is only crying in separation, though it is transcendental. So what should be impetus for a sadhaka to aspire for Vipralamba prema instead of bhoga? Okay, very complicated question here. It is not that in other sampradayas the separation is not there. It is there. In songs of Purandara, you'll find Madhva Sampradaya. In the songs of even Pushti Margis, you'll find. In the Nimbargas, there are some prayers which they also will find. In Sri Vaishnava, in the Prabandhas, Nammalvars, especially the glories of Nammalvar in Tiruvamoli, describing Tirumaruncholi, and also describing the Divyadeshams, 5 Divyadeshams in Changanur. Oh, Nammalwars. You can exactly see those prayers of Nammalwars matching with Rupa Goswami, with Vidagdha Madhava, Lalita Madhava, and those books. Like Radharani is crying and talking to a crow. Oh, crow, please, please go and tell Krishna about my condition, because Krishna may not listen to anybody else. He listens to only his friends. And you are Krishna's friend because both of you are black. He is also black, you are also black. Madness. Radharani is talking. It's there in the Divya Prabandha. This description is there. Same thing. Crow and Radharani crying. Of course, they don't use the word Radharani. They use other uh, other names, which are Tamilian names of similar forms. Nepinemi, they have used these names for it. So it is there. It is not there. But the speciality is that is not their goal. Because when you describe Krishna and devotees of Krishna and devotees different feelings which they have for Krishna, definitely separation is one of the feelings which in the love of God. But our goal is that, because in external separation from Krishna there is internal union. That is why the goal of Gaudiya Vaishnavas is Vipralamba. The Sambhoga and Vipralamba both are there. When there is external Sambhoga, internal Vipralamba is there. That is why when Radha and Krishna meet, that is Sambhoga, what they do, they embrace. Radharani wants to keep Krishna, press Krishna so hard that embrace Krishna. She wants to put Krishna into her heart, because there is separation within the heart when there is external union. So Krishna wants to keep Krishna, Radharani within in heart. There is vacuum within the heart. That is why they want to fill the vacuum. So when there is external separation, what is there? Internal. Of course, there is, when Krishna and Radharani and Krishna are together, all of a sudden they feel that where is Krishna? Where is Radharani? They both feel separation. Prem Vaichitya. It is a very elaborate subject matter. It just cannot be described in one question answer session like this. Very deep. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu talks about it. Love. Of course, we'd only do the first 19 chapters of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. When you go to the other chapters of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, you'll find all these wonderful descriptions of what is our prayojana tattva. There is no vichar, just here about them. Now, as a sadhaka in the Gaudiya Vaishnava line, we may hear to all sampradayas, all the feelings which are which devotees feel in the heart, their prayers and their service to the Lord, their description, their glorification of the Lord. But even as sadhaka, we should keep in mind our goal is something very unique, which is not found in the other sampradayas as a goal, as a primary. It is also one of the aspects. For them, Krishna's pastimes with Radharani and Krishna's pastimes with Yashodananda Maharaj, they are all Krishna's pastimes, they are all same. Rasataratamya is a very exclusive I say property of the Gaudiyas. Of course, they also have Taratamya, but Lakshmi and then Vishwakshena and Parankusha or Nammalwar, and then different they have Suris, Garuda, and all these people. In the Madhva, they also have the hierarchy. There is Narayana, there is Lakshmi, and then there comes Vayu, and then the Rudra Sesha. Rudra and Sesha, they come below Vayu. But in Sri Vaishnava, it is exactly opposite. Sesha is higher, and Rudra is next to him, and then comes Vayu and all. So according to the rasa, their hierarchy of devotees is different. But there's nothing like Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The kind of descriptions which are given by Rupa Goswami with scriptural proofs beyond imagination. The Riju Yogis, there are about 100 Riju Yogis. Of course, they're all true in the scriptures. Because of Rasaveda, there is Siddhanta Veda in the Vaishnava Sampradaya. And also there is Taratame Veda. Taratame means hierarchy. So we don't want to get into the distinction between each Gaudiya Sampradayas, but descriptions are definitely there of Vipralamba, even in the other Sampradayas, as I already given some explanation. Oh, Gaudiya philosophy is love and separation to cry. Other Sampradayas, okay. From the sadhaka point of view, if he is told that your goal is Vipralamba and not Sambhoga, then to him Sambhoga is pleasing, as the Vipralamba is only crying in separation though. That is why the sadhaka should not be really spoken about these things. Even if he's spoken about these things, he should be clarified about what exactly is the meaning of separation, and it should be explained properly. It's not that one day you just hear something and you understand. It's something. Okay, purport 1.6.21. The beginning of devotion starts in the point when one is freed from at least two forms of material modes, namely the mode of passion, the mode of ignorance. The result is exhibited by the signs of being freed from kama and lobha. That is to say, one must be freed from desire, from sense gratification, and erased from sense gratification. Question. By the modes of passion and ignorance and lust is not gone in a sadhaka, then is the bhakti not beginning. The bhakti which is being spoken is bhava. Now, that is why we need to remember those 5 verses always. The 14 steps of devotion, if you know these 14 steps, then these questions will not come only. Now, in the 14 steps, compared to those 5 verses of first canto, second chapter, Shrinatam Sakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Dantastoy Vadran Vidunoti Sulsatana Praya Shapatreshithyam Bhava Sevaya Bhagavadittam Shloke Bhaktir Bhagavati Naishtivin Tataristamo Bhavas Kamaro Bhavas Cheti Tiranadyasitam Satya Prasiditi Yam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga Bhagavad Vijnana Muktasanga Sajayati Vidyate Hridaya Krishnandi Saraswami Shakshiyante Chasya Karvani Drishtivat Punishwari. 5 verses. Even if somebody, you are sleeping and all of a sudden somebody slaps you, and then tell these 5 verses, you should be able to tell. So there, the translation of the 5 verses is Tata Rajaha Kamaha, Tata Rajastamo Bhavaha, Kama Lobhades. From Rajas comes passion, Kama. From passion comes, from Rajas or passion comes Kama. From Lobha comes from this mode of ignorance. Rajas Tamaha, Tamoguna. From Rajuguna, lust. From Tamoguna is Lobha. Now, Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavad Bhakti. Evam Prasanna Manaso. The next verse is Evam, that is Bhava Bhakti. Prasanna Manasa is Bhava Bhakti. So that comes, Bhava Bhakti comes only after. So now it is not question of sadhaka. Sadhana, still your arthas are there. That devotion which Srila Prabhupada is talking is the Bhava Bhakti, not sadhana. Sadhana is actually acting. I'll tell you frankly, acting of Krishna, that I am a devotee, itself is so true, is real. What real bhakti is, just imagine. What all, I don't say myself, I'm an actor. I'm acting as if I'm a devotee, that's all. Actually, when I went to Calcutta, when I was studying in Calcutta, I used to go to Mayapur quite often. It was only second or third visit to Mayapur, just chanting maybe 4 rounds or 2. So I was made to sit in the Bhagavatam class, and one devotee at that time was the president, the Aram was giving the class. And the whole class was on pastimes of Krishna. And after the class got over, he asked any questions, and he looked at me because he was personally guiding me. He knew me very well. Any questions he asked. Then I thought, I'm a small person, just new. And all the senior devotees in Mayapur properties were all sitting. And who am I to ask a question? And when nobody's asking question, he is still going on around. Any questions? Then I raised my hand and I have a question, but not regarding the class. I wanted to ask you personally, but still, you asked publicly, I'm asking this question. When I see you, Prabhuji, when I see all the devotees, Prabhuji, I see that I am chanting, but my chanting is acting as if I'm a devotee. I'm acting as if I'm a devotee. I told like that. Then, what do you think we are all doing? We are also acting. Just imagine you are only third time going to ISKCON temple, and your teacher, whom you have so much of faith on, he's telling that we are all acting only. I was shocked. So what does it mean to say you're doing sadhana? Sadhana means acting only. But acting itself is so great. Kleshakni Shubhadha. These two symptoms are described. This activity itself is so great. This acting itself is so great. Is it real chanting what we are doing? We are only acting as if we are chanting. That's all. We are only imitating devotees, imitators only. But the imitation itself is so real. Because we are doing the imitation in a very real way. Very perfect way. What to speak of other things? The real bhakti is actually bhava. That is being spoken there. So question is, but mode of passion, ignorance, lust, if not gone in sadhaka, is it not, bhava bhakti has not begun. It is true. If you see, the same thing is spoken in the Bhagavad Gita. That is, Brahma Buddha Prasannatma, na sochati, na kankshati, samsareshu bhuteshu, mad bhaktim labate param. Mad bhaktim labate. Who will get that bhakti? Param bhakti, bhava bhakti, only those who have attained a neutrality with matter. Okay. Prasannatma, na sochati, na kankshati. That is neutrality. That is called neutrality with matter. That means you have no hankering and no lamentation of the past. Okay, kama means hankering for enjoyment and lobha means also hankering. Can you kindly explain the difference? Kama means hankering for enjoyment. Lobha means more hankering. Both are actually connected. Kama, lobha, both are connected. Desire, kama. If you only have kama, then you'll be happy after satisfying your desire. If you are having lobha, then you will not be happy after satisfaction. Rather, you become more suffering. You suffer more. Your hankering increases. So kama is hankering and lobha is more hankering, cumulative hankering. That is the difference. That is why passion degrades to ignorance as the time goes by. So just passion cannot remain passion as it is. Passion has to degrade to ignorance. Okay, question. We are following Pancharatra and Bhagavad Vidhi, and these two are helping each other. Then what was the wrong in taking darshan by sannyas? Bhakti. Very good question. Though we are following both the process, that is Bhagavad Vidhi and Pancharatrik Vidhi, we are following. But the primary is Bhagavad Vidhi. To give you a small example, now at present it is exactly 12:30 now. In the temple, a shank is being blown. Now I am giving a Bhagavatam class here. Now, practically hardly devotees are in the temple now. They are all here and there. Somebody, I had to go there and do some kirtan because you cannot leave the Lord alone. Pujari is alone there. And when the shank is blown, actually you're supposed to go for darshan. Now, I should stop the class and then go for darshan if I'm a Sri Vaishnava. But if I'm a Gaudiya, I will not do that. Because Pancharatrik Vidhi, Bhagavad Vidhi, both, though we are following both of them, wherever the Pancharatra obstructs the Bhagavad Vidhi, we sideline the Pancharatra and take Bhagavad Vidhi ahead. Yes. So, Pancharatra and Bhagavad, though both we are following, Pancharatrik Vidhi becomes subservient to Bhagavad Vidhi whenever there is some contradiction. Like it is happening now. It's 12:30 and the shank has blown. And I need to go for darshan now. No, you should not. Okay, another one. To give you a very practical example. Now, when you are giving a class, Bhagavatam class is happening in the temple hall. Sannyasi or somebody is giving a class, anybody is giving Bhagavatam class. At the time, the door opens, the altar opens, and the pujari is supposed to blow the shank in a low voice because it will obstruct the Krishna Katha. Number two, he is ringing the bell. The bell also is to be rung very slowly because it will obstruct the Bhagavad Gita. Now, Aarti is there. You should not take the Aarti plate and go in middle of the crowd and go to Srila Prabhupada, show to Prabhupada, and come to the speaker, and then show to the speaker, and he is taking the Aarti and creates a disturbance in the Bhagavad Gita. So when Pancharatra is obstructing Bhagavad Gita, we give priority to Bhagavad Gita. That is the reason Bhaktivinoda Thakur shouted at him. When I am speaking here, Bhagavad Gita is going on, Pancharatra becomes secondary. That's a good question. Now, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Where is it? Again and again, we see pride becoming an obstacle. Oh, true. Again and again. What is the question? Okay, you're expressing your this thing. That is, yes, it's obstruction. Because pride goes before the fall. It's a very famous statement. And now, the question is, why this pride is there? Why at all it is there? Because we don't know our condition. We think we are superior to, we don't have a proper understanding of our degraded condition. That is the problem. Somebody asked me, Prabhuji, how to be humble? Just know your condition. Your pathetic condition. Just know that, that's all. My mind is not under control. So much of lust and anger, so much is there. What kind of devotee I am? That's enough. You know yourself, you'll become humble. You don't have to act as if you are humble. You know what you are. Our condition is enough. Just look in your mirror and then talk to yourself. What kind of crazy person you are. Still you think you are that. Nonsense. So try to know yourself. Self-realization. Before self-realization, even have your realization of your health, of your mind. That's enough. 1.6.13 mentions that service for some time provides intelligence. For some time. Provides intelligence to practice devotional service. After getting intelligence, how to be still dependent on Guru. See, it is not service for some time. I think we lost the, you lost the, the stress is not on some time. The stress is on service to a devotee, even for some time. That means the glory of service to devotee is so much, even if you are doing for some time, little bit time. If you see the word which is being used, that is adirgaha api. Adirga means not for much time also, for little time also. Sat sevaya adirgopi. So it is actually glorifying the potency of serving devotee rather than an instruction of serving a devotee for some time only. No. So it is a glorification. It is a power of service. Susrushru Saddhanasya. Tulayam lavenapi na swargam na punarbhavam bhagavad sangi sangasya muktanapi lavamatra sadhu sanga sarvasiddhi hoy. Lavamatra sadhu sanga sarvasiddhi hoy is not an instruction that sadhu sanga should be for lavamatra. No. It is actually glorifying that even a small time of associating with a sadhu, even a small time of serving a sadhu, that gives you so much of benefit. So after getting intelligence, how to be still dependent on Guru? Intelligence means that only. Here, intelligence doesn't mean that you got intelligence, now I don't require. Intelligence means you understand that you are dependent on Guru. So more intelligent you become, the more dependence you experience. Earlier, you were thinking that by my intelligence, I can understand. I don't require anybody. That was foolishness. But now, intelligence came means what is that intelligence? So, it mentions service for some time provides intelligence to practice devotional service. And what is that intelligence which is making you practice devotional service? That intelligence is an understanding that you're totally dependent. Otherwise, you did not get intelligence. The more you become intelligent, the more you understand, more you realize that you are dependent. You're not independent. Tava pache pache. You are without you. What is the use? I'm nobody. That is what Narottam Thakur prays. That, oh Lord, oh great devotees, I don't have anybody else other than you. Whole Guru Puja, what we sing, Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Do you think Narottam Thakur has no intelligence? That is why he's singing the song. And somebody who has more intelligence, that is why he doesn't have to sing the song? No. He has a perfect intelligence. Oh, spiritual master. Tavadina, without you I am helpless. Chakshudan Diloye, Janme Janme Prabhu say. All these things are what? Coming from pure intelligence. So, if you really, what is the proof that you got intelligence? That is, you are experiencing your dependence. Yeah. Example, Prabhupada said, there was never a time when he has forgotten spiritual master. How does one overcome this insurmountable obstacle? When will this oscillation between humility and pride cease? When? Even if you are able to remember this, when I am going to cease, when I am going to overcome this, that when is very strong. That will overcome, that will help you to overcome. Kada, when? When I am going to see Krishna, when I am going to have darshan of Krishna, when I am going to overcome this pride, when I am going to overcome this lust, when I am going to overcome this oscillation. Kada, remember this word, kada, when, oh Lord, when. The very one prayer every day to Krishna, when it is going to happen. Sincere prayer, when. That's fine. That will be a suitable answer because you asked this question sincerely. Question by SMGD. Very difficult to find out what does it mean, SMGD. Grateful for explaining previous verse so beautifully. Thank you. Previous verse. Among 4 aspects of A.T. Krishna, Nam Roop Kundil. Okay. What does this Rupa mean actually in terms of revelation as Narada got here? What deity darshan is that experience of Rupa? What it means that a name reveals itself first, Rupa is revealed, then Acha, Guna, etc. Please explain. Rupam Priyatamam Swanam Sarvendri Gunanjanam, Rudra Gita. So when you say form will be revealed, when you are chanting the name of the Lord, depending on the nishtha which you had at that level of chanting, at the time of chanting, that tadanurupa rupa. Tadanurupa means the in your heart you have a particular kind of nishtha, whether in Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Depending on that, you get a rupa. According to your bhava, the rupa of the Lord is manifested. That is why it is described by Lord Shiva in the Rudra Gita. According to the mood of a devotee, the Lord reveals a particular form. So name is one only. When you go on chanting one name of Krishna, but depending on the mood in which you chant the name of Krishna, the form is revealed. So that is a subject matter which cannot be discussed publicly. But for in general, Srila Prabhupada just told, hear the name. Naturally, what bhava you have for Krishna, that will automatically come. we don't want to discuss that full, because he gives example. When a young girl marries a young boy, they get married. Automatically, what has to done, what is the relation, everything will be, they don't want to talk about it. All revelation happens. So in the same way, by chanting the names of Krishna, gradually many things will be revealed. That is why it is said, Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purno Shuddho Nityamukta Vinnatvat Namanam. It is Krishna himself who is actually dancing on your tongue. That is why Ata Sri Krishna Namadi Na Bhavet Grahim Indriyehi Sevon Mukeju Swayamevahi Sprutyataha. Automatically revelation happens, and it is not the same for everyone, because the nishtha with which they chant is different. Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Among the rasas, depending on the rasa in which you have contemplated on, meditated on, that particular form will be revealed. So, this is a science. Bhaktara Samsana talks about it. But for general public talk, like this is happening, we only talk about, like Prabhupada said, just here, automatically things will be revealed. That's all. But as a science, Rupam Priyatamam Swanam, as the form which is loved by the devotee, that form will be revealed to why Krishna has so many forms. It's unlimited forms because unlimited devotees are unlimited bhavas. That is why you have unlimited forms. So, this is the meaning of Nama revealing the next. Next. Prabhuji, Narad Muni responded so ideally to every situation, mood, while serving Bhakti Vedantas. Response when his mother passed away. Response to appearance and disappearance of the Lord. Such refined intelligence. How does one develop this discrimination? That is why we are studying Bhagavatam. Discrimination comes by Swadhyaya, Tat Shunvan, Supatan, Vicharana Paro. Tat Shunvan, by hearing. At least by hearing, you are able to make out that Darda had this kind of response. Now, after hearing, Supatan, after hearing these classes, what we are doing, then you read the Bhagavatam. Oh, the verses becomes very bright. That is called Supatan. And after that, contemplation, that gives you Viveka. And that becomes natural over a period of time. Initially, it's an abhyasa. Hearing, reading, contemplation, and then you get developed an intelligence called Viveka. And this intelligence, as over a period of time, becomes a swabhava. It becomes your nature. So, it doesn't come just one day. But you should know the process. The process is this. Srimad Bhagavatam Brahmanamamalam Puranamamalam Yadvaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramaham Samgyanam Param Giyate Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sahitam Naishkarmimamishkritam Tat Shrunvan, here, Supatan, read, and Vicharana Paro, contemplating. And that gives you the Viveka, Bhaktya Vimuche Naraha. That contemplation leads you to give you a special intelligence, and it so happens over a period of time it becomes natural for you. Sabhava. When we say that seeing with the ears, does it mean that by the process of hearing one is able to approach the deity in the right mood? Yes, right mood, cognizant of the position of the Lord. Yes, very good, you're true. Or does it mean that one sees Krishna Katha as equivalent to Lord's form or greater? Both. They are non-different. When you are going on hearing about Krishna, actually you are able to see Krishna. And now when you see Krishna in the deity form, and you are able to see Krishna, the deity himself as Krishna. When you see Mahaprasad, you can see it is actually Krishna. Yomam Pashit Sarvatra, Sarvam Chamai Pashyati, Tasyam na Pranashyami, Tachamai na Pranashyati. So, Sarvam Krishnamayam. So much of hearing, you just cannot. You see water, because you have heard from the Bhagavad Gita that I am the taste in water. You think of Krishna. You see Krishna in water. You see deity. Because you read in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Tumita Pratyamaya Sakshat is Krishna himself. In this way, both the things happen. You become cognizant of his position when you approach the deity. At the same time, even when the deity is not there, you are able to see Krishna even in matter. Andantarastha paramanuchayantarastam. Why iron? I like is iron because Krishna has entered it and given the quality of iron. Why wood is wood? Because Krishna has entered wood and gave the quality of wood. So for him, Stavar Jangama Deki, Nam Deki, Tarmurti, Sarvata Spurta, Ishtadeva Spriti. When the Stavar Jangama, you see anything in this world, you just remember Krishna, nothing else. Okay. It seems in scripture that disciple would get Guru's association for a short while and they would become pure. Short while become pure devotees by that little association. But in our case, we don't see that happening so often, that by very little sadhu sangha, one becomes a pure devotee. It is like this. Sadhu sangha is 100% perfect, pure. But our association is not very strong. Our attachment is not very strong. That is why purity of a devotee depends on his affection for the pure devotee. That is what Devyoti, Papila tells Devyoti. Prasangamajaram bhasham atmanak kavayo vidu saeva sadhushu kruto moksha dvara pavratam. The love which Prabhupada had for Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It is not one time, two time meeting, three time meeting. It is the love which Prabhupada had for the spiritual master. Saeva sadhushu kruto moksha dvaram pavratam. Tulayam lavenapi na swargam apunarbhavam Bhagavad Sangi Sangasya Vrityanam Kimutashna. Bhagavad Sangi Sangasya. It cannot be compared. Even a little bit of association cannot be compared to anything in this world. Even Swarga, Apunarbhava, any liberation. What to speak of Vrityanam, which are little things. This way, it was the intensity of one's affection for your spiritual master that matters. When Srila Prabhupada disciples, who are they? Meat eaters, cow meat eaters. But what kind of affection they had for That is why the stories of Acharyas, the glory is their disciples' affection for them. Ramanuja. Kuresha's affection for Ramanuja. Dasharathi's affection for Ramanuja. Mudalayandan, Dasharati. And you have affection of Kidambi Achan, their affection for Rama. So it is affection for their Guru, Prabhupada's many disciples. You see, Prabhupada Ram will cry. When you see, Prabhupada is a sadhu, great personality, but when you see his disciples, Western disciples, their affection was Prabhupada so much, they could just give up everything. They consider this world to be insignificant. So that is one thing. Okay. In text 23, Sat Sevaya is mentioned. In case of Narada boy, he was only engaged in meditation, austerity, not any physical seva. So it appears that seva is not just physical engagement of senses in working for Krishna and institution. It is also doing good sadhana, also easily hearing and chanting and remembering. Now, Sevon mukehi jivha ado. Beginning with jivha. Beginning with jivha means what? Starting from the tongue. So starting from tongue doesn't mean only tongue. Everything. Now, sat sevaya dirgayapi. Now, sat sevaya adirgayapi. Jata mai jadamatihi. Now, here the word sat sevaya has got two meanings here. One is serving the Supreme Lord, and other is sat sevaya refers to serving the Vedantist, the Bhakti Vedantist, serving the devotees. Here, if you read Srila Vishwanath Thakur, he clearly says Sat Sevaya refers to the service which Narada has done to devotees. Adirgayapi. Now, Krishna is telling Narada, you got this consciousness because you have served the devotees. Now, how did Narada serve the devotees? He was meditating that he is washing the plate of the devotees. Was he meditating that, oh, I am cleaning the clothes of the devotees? Of course. There is something called Manas Seva also. But that is not possible for everyone. Manas Seva is a very high position. But still we practice a little bit of that. So Rishika Ena, Rishika Esha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. Now when you brought this point of engagement of senses in working for Krishna and institution. See, institution is only facilitating your service to Krishna. That is why we serve the institution, because it is a facilitation. It is giving you a facility. For example, you have to serve distribution books. If you don't have printing process, there is no system, then how will you distribute books? So it's a facility. So sadhana and seva, both are interdependent, as we discussed yesterday. Especially hearing, chanting, remembering. All these things should happen along with physical activity also. Rishikayena, Rishikayisha, Sevanam, Bhakti Ruchate. Body and mind. For those who are very pure in mode of goodness, already purified their consciousness and come to great level of goodness. Mind is very much under control. They can do directly mental seva, no problem, without engaging in very physical activity. But mind is unsteady. So for a person who is unsteady mind, then he has to engage in physical activity. Then the mind follows the senses. So both. It doesn't matter. Both are the same. Not one thing is higher, one thing is less. Both. As I told, one helps the other. Okay, last question. We have to go to complete the syllabus. We have 23, 26 verses we have reached. We have 10 more verses to go. Since the hankering is not there at present, do we have to put special effort on developing the hankering, or keep on doing a service, do sadhana, etc., and become more and more sincere in that? At some point hankering will come. If you don't have hankering that you don't have hankering for. You just cannot go on things like that. It will come, let it come. Not like that. Right? For that, for developing raga, you require hankering. Without hankering, without lobha, raga will not manifest. See, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there are very clearly things. Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, bhava which comes out of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti only, that is a different path. And the bhava which comes from raganuga sadhana bhakti, that is different. I don't want to get to the subject of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. For that, you remember two verses spoken by Ramananda Rai to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ramananda Rai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu conversation. I'll just quote these two verses because the hankering word has come. If possible, remember these two verses. After speaking, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Aage kaho aar, we all know this story. Then Ramanand Rai went on quoting verses, and then he came to the point of saying that Sthane Sitam Sitigatam Tanuvang Manobir. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, hey hoy, this is perfect, this is sadhya. This is sadhya. Sadhya means the goal of life. So I'm very much happy to hear that Ramanand Rai, that you have come to the point of real goal of life. And now Ramanand Rai goes further, because Krishna told, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, this is definitely the limit, but speak something more, speak something more. Then Ramanand Rai, he starts speaking about the hankering, which converts the sadhana, Vaiji sadhana, to Raganuga. So for that, he has a beautiful verse. Let us see what verse which Ramanand Rai says. Nanopachara krita pujamana kupujanamartha bandho premnaiva bhakta hridayam sukha vidrutam syat yavat kshudasti chatare jarata pipasa tavat sukaya bhavato nanu bhakshapeye. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 8, text number 69. Madhya Leela 8.69. Very beautiful verse. Yavat kshudasti jatare. As long as there is shud, means hunger in the stomach, the food is tasty. We're chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, most sweetest thing in this world, Madhura. There is no better sweet than Hare Krishna mantra. Govinda, Achyuta, Madhava. Do you think anything more sweeter than there? These names are Madhuram, Madhurebhyo, Namana Kirtanam, Navamangalam. But there is no taste. Why? Because there is no hunger. Hunger is the best spice. Rasgulla. When your stomach is full, Rasgulla is also bitter. But if your stomach is extreme, hunger is there, hankering is there. Even yesterday dry chapati becomes sweet for you. So that is why Ramanand Rai says beautiful words. Krishna Bhakti Rasabhavita Mati. Next verse only. That is 70th verse, 8th chapter Madhya Leela, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna Bhakti Rasabhavita Mati. Kriyatam kuto bilabhyate. Kriyatam, bite. What is the payment you have to pay for it? The only payment you have to pay for it is, only price you have to pay for it is lobha. Tatra lolyam avimulyam egalam janma koti sukrutena labhyate. So it has to be developed. How will you develop it? By associating with those people who have the greed, who have that hankering. So if you don't have hankering, hanker that you don't have hankering for, cry that you are not able to cry. That is. Okay, I'll take this last question. No more questions for this session now. Question from Raja Varadaraj Prabhu. If we love devotees and have affection for him, does purification of us depends on greatness of the devotee, or if I am affectionate to any devotee, result will be the same? Definitely, your affection for Srila Prabhupada, which transforms into the affection of any devotee in the movement, that will give the same effect. But if you forget Srila Prabhupada as a pure devotee and develop some affection for some devotee, then Anartha Yukta consciousness and you have Anartha Yukta consciousness both get together and become double Anarthas. If you keep Prabhupada in the center, who is a pure devotee, and if you have developed an affection for another devotee who is still having Anarthas, seeing him in connection with Srila Prabhupada and have affection, then ultimately when it is said affection for devotee means affection for Srila Prabhupada, which can translate or should translate into affection for all the devotees connected to Srila Prabhupada. Ultimately, it is Srila Prabhupada affection for him. That's what. You just cannot have, I have affection for this devotee. But you will get only what he has. If he has got only lust, anger, greed, you will get that only. That is why you see your spiritual master, the Vartaman spiritual master, and all the other devotees connected to the movement in some way or the other are in connection. You see all of them in connection with Srila Prabhupada. That is what is meant. Okay, so we'll go further. Which verse were we in? 20. Bhagavatam, first canto, 6th chapter, 96. In this way, Narada, he goes further. How does he go? Evam Krishnamate Brahman Nasat. Okay. Evam Krishnamate Brahman Nasat Tasyamalatmanah Kalaha Pradurbhut Kale Tadid So Soda Mani Yatha. Like a lightning, what happened? Oh Vyasa, as the time went by, I was fully absorbed in thinking of Krishna, and who therefore had no attachments, being completely freed from all material limits, material taints, met with death. That I as lightning and illumination occurs simultaneously. So Tarid means lightning, and Saudha Mani Yatha. The lightning and the whole world is illuminated. Both happened simultaneously. Why Narada is telling that? Because he giving up this material body, accepting a spiritual body. Both happened simultaneously. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, to be fully absorbed in thoughts of Krishna means clearance of material dirt or hankering. As a rich man had no hankering for a small petty thing, so also a devotee of the Lord who is guaranteed to pass to the kingdom of God, where life is eternal, fully cognizant and blissful, naturally has no hankering for petty material things, which are like dolls or shadows of the reality, and without permanent value. That is a sign of spiritually enriched person. In due course of time, when a pure devotee is completely prepared, all of a sudden the change of body occurs and is commonly called death. And for a pure devotee, such a change takes place exactly like lightning and illumination follows simultaneously. That is to say, a devotee simultaneously changes material body and develops a spiritual body by the will of the Lord. Even before death, a pure devotee has no material affliction due to the body being spiritualized like red hot iron in contact with fire. So both happen simultaneously. Narada developed a spiritual body. Now, Prayunjamane mayi tam shuddham bhagavatim tanum arabdha karma nirvano na nyapatat panchabhautikaha. Nyapatat panchabhautikaha. Material body, nyapatat. It fell down, and shuddham, shuddha sattva body, which is shuddham, pure, which had no any material traces, that body I accepted. I have been given a body befitting to the associated personality of Godhead. What kind of body? Shuddham Bhagavatim Tanum. Bhagavatim Tanum. I got a which had no material fringe at all. That kind of body I was awarded. Now, informed the personality of Godhead that he would be awarded a transcendental body befitting the Lord's associates. Narada got a spiritual body because Krishna has already told him, once you give this body, you'll come to me. So, as long as Narada lived in his present body, He was pure devotee. Jivan Muktasya Uchate. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the beginning of the Indra Gopajam up to the great Indra, king of heaven, all living beings are subject to karma and bound to suffer and enjoy the fruitive results. Only devotee is exempt from such reactions. It is only the prema bhakti which relieves you from all kinds of sinful reactions, in even prarabdha. But as long as the body is there, some prarabdha has to be there only for the purpose of serving the Lord, preaching Krishna consciousness, like that. Because you cannot have a body without some prarabdha, but it's not bound by prarabdha. Prarabdha will be there, some residual prarabdha will be there. So, going further, sadhana bhakti also removes the prarabdha karmas of a devotee, but not all the prarabdhas. Those prarabdhas which are detrimental for devotional service, those are removed. But it is a prema which removes all the prarabdhas. Karmani nirdahati kintucha bhakti bhajam. What kind of bhakti removes prarabdhas? It is a prema. On the other hand, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Jnanagni dagda karmani tamahu panditam buddha. Jnanagni is so strong that it fries all the seeds of devotion, seeds which you have. Seeds of karma are completely fried. Jnanagni dagda karmani. So, in this way, there in the purport, Srila Vishwanath Thakur says, prarabdha karmas are not burnt by either Karmeshwara Bhakti. Only those aprarabdhas are burnt. But Prema Bhakti has a capacity to burn everything. Anyhow. Go further, 29th. Kalpanta idam adhya Shyanembas udanvataha Shishyor anu pranam viveshentar aham vibho. What happened in the Kalpanta idam adaya at the end of Brahma's day? And idam adaya shayane ambhasi. The Supreme Lord is lying in the ocean. So I went into the stomach of the Supreme Lord. And next day, when Brahma was born, again appeared in this world. At the end of the millennium, when the personality of God, Lord Narayana, lay in the waters of devastation, Brahma began to enter into him along with the all people. So Brahma also entered. And along with Brahma, I also entered into the Lord through his breathing. The Lord breathed inside and everything went inside. Now, next. Sahasra Yuga Parvyante, whole night of Brahma. Sarasya Yuga Paryante, Uttayedam Shikshataha, Marichi Misharishaya, Pranebhyoham Cha Jagnire. You know, Brahma sleeps for so many years. That is 43,20,000 years multiplied by 1,000. So many years when Brahma awoke to, after so many years, Brahma awoke to create again by the will of the Lord. All the rishis like Marichi, Angiratri, and so on were created from the transcendental body of the Lord, and also appeared along with them. So it is a story, it's a description, it's going on, how Narada appeared in the next yuga. Next, 31st verse. Antarbahishcha lokan strin parye me askandita vrataha anugrahan mahavishnur avigata gati kvachit. Since then, by the grace of the Almighty Vishnu, I travel everywhere without restriction, both in the transcendental world and in the three divisions in the material world. This is because I am fixed in unbroken devotional service to the Lord. So, Narada says that there is a difference between me and Marichi. See, Marichi, they got material body, whereas I got a spiritual body. Under their own influence of karma, they got. And Kumaras were also born, but I got a special body other than Kumaras. Kumaras, yeah, they have a spiritual body, but it is coming from jnana. But I got a spiritual body because of my bhakti, which I have done in the previous life. So, let me read the purport. As said in Bhagavad Gita, there are three divisions of material spheres, namely Urdhaloka, topmost planets, Madhyaloka, midway, and Adholoka, downwards. Beyond the Urdhaloka planet, that is to say, above the Brahmaloka, are the material coverings of the universe. And above the spiritual sky, which is unlimited in expansion, containing unlimited self-illuminated Vaikuntha planets inhabited by God Himself, along with His associates, who are all eternally liberated living entities. Sri Narada Muni could enter these planets in both material and spiritual spheres without restriction. It is a speciality of Narada. Whereas Marichi could not just do that. Kumaras could do that, but their attaining spiritual bodies is something like because of jnana, not because of bhakti. Narada Muni could enter all these planets in both material and spiritual spheres without restrictions, as much as the Almighty Lord is free to move personally in any part of the creation. In the material world, the living beings are influenced by three modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, ignorance. But Narada Muni is transcendental to these material modes, and thus he can travel everywhere unrestricted. He is a liberated spaceman. Liberated. Prabhupada says Narada is a transcendental spaceman. The causeless mercy of Lord Vishnu is unparalleled, and such mercy is perceived by the devotees only by the grace of the Lord. Therefore, the devotees never fall down by the materialists, that is, the fruity workers and speculative philosophers too fall down, being forced by the respective modes of nature. The rishis are above mentioned cannot enter in a transcendental world like Narada because they are material body. The fact is disclosed in Narasimha Purana. Rishis like Marichi are authorities in fruity work, and rishis Sanaka and Sanatana are authorized in speculation, philosophical speculation. But Narada Muni is the prime authority of the transcendental devotional service of the Lord. As all the great authorities in devotional service of the Lord follow the footsteps of Narada Muni, in order the Narada Bhakti Sutras, in the order of the Narada Bhakti Sutra, and therefore all the devotees of the Lord are unhesitatingly qualified to enter the kingdom of God, Vaikuntha. So it's very clear that I travel inside and outside the universe. Go to Vaikuntha, you can come back. Anywhere you can go. Whereas the Kumaras on the path of detachment, Marichis on the path of sense gratification, fruity work, only Narada is the liberated among all, totally liberated. Next. Now, 32nd verse. Devadattam imam veenam sarva brahma swara brahma vibhushitam murchaitva hari katam gayamanam charantyam. In this life, what I am doing? I just travel around. Constantly travel, singing the transcendental message of the glories of the Lord, vibrating the instrument veena, which is charged with transcendental sound and which was given to me by Lord Krishna himself. Narada received the veena from Lord Krishna. Of course, other Purana talks about how Narada received veena from Lord Shiva in Rudraprayag. Of course, there's a Puranic story that how that veena went to different places, and he received in one of the times in Puranic age from Lord Shiva. Now, Devadattam. Narada's veena was not of this material world because it was given by the Supreme Lord himself. And this veena is Swara Brahma Vibhushitam. Very nice purport. Let me read this purport. Musical string instrument called veena, which was handled by Narada when Lord Krishna, is described in the Linga Purana and is confirmed by Sri Jiva Goswami. The transcendental instrument is identical with Lord Shiva, Lord Krishna and Narada, because all of them are the same transcendental category. Sound vibrated by instrument cannot be material, and therefore the glories and pastimes which are broadcast by instrument of Narada are not transcendent, are also transcendental, without a tinge of material inability. The seven strings metered, namely, seven singing meters, namely, Sa Re Ga Ma Pa Da Ni, are also transcendental and specifically meant for transcendental songs. As a pure devotee to the Lord, Sri Narada is always fulfilling his obligation to the Lord for his gift of the instrument. And thus, he is always engaged in singing his transcendental glories and is therefore infallible in his exalted position. Following in the footsteps of Sri Narada Muni, a self-realized soul in the material world would also properly use the sound meters. So if you are a singer, actually, you can be called a singer only when you sing for Krishna. Otherwise, you are a donkey. One may be a very good singer in the world, pop music, that music, Hindustani music, Carnatic music, but if it is not for Krishna, understand, they are donkeys. Because music is only meant for Krishna. Because he is originator of music. Going further. Pragayata Swaviryani Tirthapada Priya Shava Ahuta Iva Me Shigram Darshanam Yati Chetasi. Ahuta Iva Me Shigram. Wow, what a verse it is. Ahuta Iva Me. Just hear this, the beauty of this verse. Pragayataha Swaviryan. I went on, glorifying God. Pragayataha. And Priyashravaha. They are very dear, very nice to hear about pastimes of Krishna, very nice to hear. And Tirtha Padaha. All the Tirtha pilgrimage places are there in the at the lotus feet of the Lord. Wherever the glories of the Lord are there, all the Tirtha stans are there. And now what happened? Ahuta ivame shigram darshanam yadi chetasi. The Lord came and occupied my heart as if he has been invited. What happens when we discuss Bhagavatam? What happens when we glorify Krishna is this. Krishna comes and then sits in the place where Bhagavatam is described. Bhagavatam is discussed. Why? How? As if he is invited. Now tell me, will you go to a place where you are not invited? Suppose somebody's wedding is going on. Will you go without being invited to the wedding? You will not go. Only two kinds of people will go. One who is very hungry and he knows if we go to the wedding I get some feast, so they go without being invited. Other person who goes without being invited is a shameless person. When you are describing about Krishna, when you are discussing Bhagavatam, Krishna comes as if he's invited, means he's not invited. Though Krishna is not invited, he comes. That means he comes because he's hungry to hear about himself. And because of his hunger to hear about himself, he has become shameless. So that's the glory of Krishna Katha. Wherever Krishna is there, Krishna's pastimes are sung. There, Krishna is still present there. So he is controlled by bhakti. Ahuta ihame shikram darshanam yati chetasi. So you can read the purport, very beautiful purport. Now, etadadyatura chittanam matra sparshechaya muhu bhavasindu plavo drishto hari charyanu varnanam. So, atura chittanam, those who are completely disturbed because of consciousness is disturbed, because of sparsha matra, because of they always want to enjoy the sense objects, touch, smell, eat, taste, like that. Bhav Sindhu Plavo, The only boat which can make them cross over the ocean of middle existence is to describe about glories of Krishna. And he says, Bhava Sindhu Pravo Drishto Haricharyan Varnam Etadhi Atrachittaram Matra Sparshechyamuhu Bhava Sindhu Pravo Drishto Drishtaha. He says, I saw this thing in my own life. I was a boy born into such a low class family. But it is because of hearing the glories of the Lord from the pure devotees. What happened? Bhava Sindhu Pravo Drishto. I am telling out of my experience. Drishtaha. Haricharya Varnam. That is the only way by which one can cross over the ocean of middle existence. I'll just read the last line, last but one line. This is stated by the personal experience by such a authority as Narad Muni. And we can have the same experience also if we begin to follow the footsteps of the great sage, the dearmost devotee of the Lord. Now, again, he wants to glorify devotion, bhakti. Yamadiviryogapate kamalo vahato muhu mukunda sevya yadvat tatha madutna samyati. Tata atmadha na samyati. Mukunda sevya yadvat. Definitely by following yoga, practice of yoga. Definitely by practice of some yoga pata. What happens? You can reduce your lust and greed, no problem. But not for a long time. The control over lust and anger and greed, etc., cannot be as much attained by other processes as much we attain by performance of devotional service. So yoga pati, definitely other processes are there which are giving you some kind of relief from lust and anger, but it is not going to happen as much as bhakti can give. So perform bhakti. Going further. Sarvam tadidam akyatam yat prushtoham tvayanaga jnana karma rahasyam me bhavataschatmatoshanam. O Vyasa, you are freed from all sins. Thus I explained my birth and activities for self-realization as you asked. All this will be conducive for your personal satisfaction also. Sarvam idam akyatam. Whatever you asked, I have spoken. Yat prushtoham tvayanaga. O Narada, O Vyasa, you are anagha, you are sinless. Whatever you ask, janma, karma, rahasya me, whatever my birth, my activities and rahasya, secrets, bhavatas chatmatoshanam, I explained to you for your satisfaction. Now, this is rahasya because those who are jnanis and yogis, they cannot understand. Only bhaktas can understand, even you can understand. The 7th verse. Suta uvacha evam sambhashya bhagavan narado vasavi sutam amantriya vinam ramyam yayo yadrichako munihi. Amantriya, after taking leave, yadrichaya. Narada goes, where is going, where is going, nobody knows. He also doesn't know. What happened? Narado Vasavi Sutam Satyavati. Narado Vasavi Sutam. Satyavati's son, he took leave from Vyasa. And Amantriya Veenam, he went on playing Veena. And Yayo Yadrichaya, he went to different places. In this way, Narada left. So, Yadrichya means Narada without any motive. Not only that, Bhakti is also Yadrichaya. Bhakti is causeless. And Vyasa got association of Narada, that is also causeless. So we have this purport. Just read the purport. Every living being is anxious for full freedom because that is a transcendental nature. And this freedom is obtained only through transcendental service, the Lord, illusion by the external energy. Everyone thinks that he is free, but actually he is bound by the laws of nature. The conditioned soul cannot freely move from one place to another, even on this earth. And what to speak of one planet to another? You are locked down now. Living it is what is in this planet. What now it's become house also. You cannot leave from your house now. The conditioned soul cannot freely move from one place to another, even on this earth. Even from your house to other house, you cannot go. Your other building, you cannot go. What to speak of one planet to other planet? Just imagine if you all had spiritual bodies, we would have gone to temple, we would have gone anywhere. Always engage in chanting the glory. But a full-fledged free soul like Narada always engage in chanting the glories. God's glory is free to move, not only on earth, but also on any part of the universe, as well as any part of the spiritual sky. You can just imagine the extent of unlimitedness of freedom, which is as good as the Supreme Lord. There is no reason or obligation for traveling. No one can stop him from his free movement. Similarly, the transcendental system of devotional service is also free. It may or may not develop in a particular person even after it undergoes all detailed formulas. So it is free, Yadrichaya. As much as Narada is free, in the same way, association devotee is also causeless, free. One may be fortunate to have it, and others may not be fortunate. And therefore, in all spheres of devotional service, freedom is the main pivot. Without freedom, there is no execution of devotional service. The freedom surrendered to the Lord does not mean the devotees become dependent on every aspect. To surrender unto the Lord through the transcendental medium of spiritual master is to attain complete freedom of life. Of course, this is all known. Last words. Aho devarshir dhanyoham. Yat kirtim sangradhan vanaha. Gayan madayan idam tantriya. Ramayan chaturam jagat. In this way, Narada, Gayanti Madhyam Idam Tantriya, playing the Veena. He goes around the world and Ramayan Aturam Jagat, he enlivens all the people in this world who are Aturam, very much distressed. So, all glory and success to Narad Muni because he glorifies the activities of the Supreme Lord. Narad Muni plays on the instruments to glorify the transcendental activities of the Lord and to give relief to all miserable living entities in the universe. No one is happy here within the universe. And what is felt as happiness is Maya illusion. The illusionary energy of the Lord is so strong that even the hog who lives on a filthy stool feels happy. No one can be truly happy within the material world. Sri Narada Muni, in order to enlighten miserable living entities, wanders everywhere. His mission is to get them back home, back to Godhead. That is the mission of all genuine devotees of the Lord, following the footsteps of great devotees. So become like Narada Muni. Okay, stop here. Let's take only these three questions. That is transcendental. Oh, where did it go? Is transcendental body of devotees like Narada. Is transcendental body of devotees like Narada can be seen only when they wish? Yes. Only when they wish they can be seen. Like the Lord, if he wishes, he can show himself to the conditioned soul also. The same way, the Narada and all different devotees of spiritual body, according to their wish, they can be present in wherever, whichever dimension they want. Next, 1.5.5, Vyasa says that Narada is offspring of Brahma. But here, 1.6.3, it is said that Narada appeared from transcendental body of the Lord. Exactly whose son is he? He is son of Brahma, Manasaputra Brahma. Both Brahma, there appearing from the transcendental body of the Lord means he came out from the stomach of Mahavishnu, but in the process of creation, he came through Brahma. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Narada Muni was completely purified at death. Why did he wait through the duration of... Actually, Narada would go back home, back to the spiritual world, but Krishna's wish was that he has to come back to this material world for preaching purposes. That is why, by the will of Krishna, this happened. Now that he is in the form Narada Muni, does he have to enter Mahavishnu's body every pralaya? No, he entered the body of Mahavishnu only to come back for preaching purpose. He has a spiritual form. It is by the will of the Lord, some souls, they enter this world again for the purpose of preaching. In spite of their entering, they will be as pure as they're in the spiritual world. Next, 1.6.3 purport. Can you explain in detail? 3.7. Sutta Vacha. There is no reason or obligation for his traveling, and no one can stop him from free movement. Similarly, the transcendental system of devotional study is also free. It may or may not develop in a particular person, even after undergoes. See, there is a commentary to the word yadrichaya. Yadricha means according to the free will. So there are three causelessness, three kinds of causelessness here. One is Narada is also, his movements are causeless. Number two, bhakti is also causeless, as much as the devotee is causeless. Number three, Narada giving association to Vyasa is also causeless. So these are the three causelessness in connection with devotee, in connection with devotion. That is bhakti, bhakta, and bhakta's association. There is no arithmetic rule. There is no equation why he became a devotee, why he did not, why he's advancing, why is he not advancing. It's all causeless. Why he got this thing, why he did not get it is causeless only. That is why therefore, in all spheres of devotional service, freedom is the main pure. Without freedom, there is no education. The freedom surrendered to the Lord does not mean that the devotee becomes dependent. Okay. Surrender upon the Lord through the transparent media of spiritual master is to attain complete freedom of life. Now, another point. Freedom is designed as what? Sometimes people think freedom means I can do anything. No. Surrendering to spiritual master actually is freedom. Surrendering your freedom to spiritual master is actual freedom. How? Oh, spiritual master, you can do whatever you want with me. That means you are free. All responsibility is of spiritual master. You have only one responsibility to surrender. Now, that doesn't mean now your lockdown is going on. Spiritual master, nobody is there to worship the deity. Oh, spiritual master, go down is over. Where is the rice? I'm surrendered to you. Send rice. No, not like that. That is the meaning. Somebody wrote a message. We are interested in hearing more of some topics that are beyond the scope of this class: education, the Varnashrama, Madhuri Kadambari, history, etc. Yeah, it can be done, no problem. And in London, Srila Prabhupada gifted NOD to an Indian ambassador who was not a devotee. But we are told that we read only NOD first 19 chapters of NOD as a topic higher. We should probably restrict the read NOD 19 chapters, and other chapters are not to be read to advanced stage only. No. It is a syllabus for your Bhakti Shastri. That is why I told. It is not that you just only read only 19 chapters. After that, you're not supposed to read. No, no, no. You should read, Baba. You should read the entire Nodi. I just told generally devotees read Nodi because of Bhakti Shastri, not because of. I'm just giving you my perception after going to many places and teaching. I asked, how many of you read a Nodi? They only told, we read a Nodi because there is a syllabus of Bhakti Shastri. Otherwise, they don't touch the book. Strange. You should read every day. It's so beautiful. Even the chapters after 19, they're wonderful. One reading, whether you understand or don't understand, that is a different thing. Anyway, you cannot understand. Because these subject matters are not for understanding, it's only for experience, meant for experience. Okay. So we stop here. Where it is? I think, can you please explain the... maybe the meaning of Saranga. He has a bow called Saranga. Saranga Dhanva. So you can one who has Saranga in his hand. Of course, Vishnu Sahasranam actually talks a lot about this. A lot of commentaries there on that. So if you go to Vishnu Sahasranam, you'll find so many meanings. I read many years back, so I don't exactly remember the many explanations for this name. So if you go to that, then you can really do. So we stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, we are really grateful to you because in this lockdown, like a Samsara Dava Narali Loko Trana Karunya. So few senior devotees want to express their gratitude. So please, I will hand over to His Grace Brother as Prabhu.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, thank
Dandot,
you very
Prabhuji.
much for giving us your association, and we were really enlivened. We could see our love for Srimad Bhagavatam reading has increased very much because of your association. The first day he was mentioning that one can see how much love a devotee has developed for Krishna just by seeing how much love he has developed for Srimad Bhagavatam. It was a very special realizations, and we could, in all your through classes, we could see you have great love for Srimad Bhagavatam, and also we could see that from all sides, different types of questions related to deity worship, Pancharatrika Vidhi, history of the India, and this and that, everything. So just like Srila Prabhupada says, this preacher has to be perfect in all subject matters, and then he will be able to present our philosophy very nicely. So we, for all paramparas, different questions and everything was known to you, and he was explaining so much nicely to us that we were really relishing. And one realization we had while hearing your classes were that we were not waiting at all to end the class. Most of the time, there is a consideration when the class will get over, but some of the days, question answer were going at till 1:30, 2 o'clock also, but everybody was just stuck to the seats. So I thank you very much. And also the Narada's instruction to Vyasadeva, where he's describing Bhaktivedanta's instruction to Narad Muni, where he's describing the glories of devotional service, how that action, jnana and the karma, and then acting in the service of Krishna. That is seeing in action in the action, where you were explaining in two classes, and then resolving the contradictions which commonly come in our organization by for seeing each other ashramas. It was so beautifully explained. It was not just a shastras, but also the application of the shastras were so nicely explained. I'm very grateful to you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much from all the side of our devotees of Pune. We express our great gratitude to you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So total around 40 plus devotees attended your classes from last week. and
Uh-huh.
from Brahmacharya ashram also and from congregation also. So
Uh,
one of the devotee, His Grace Narsimha Avatar Prabhu, want to express his gratitude.
uh-huh.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much. I mean, I cannot express it in words also. And but still, you made yourself available for all of us during this lockdown situation. I mean, I found you spoke so naturally on Shrimad Bhagavatam with your personal relish, which we as students got to experience with your background and study of different sampradayas, your insights from the commentaries of acharyas on the Ramayana, Mahabharata, Shrimad Bhagavatam, etc. You actually gave us the glimpse and experience of the words Pibat Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. And some of your wonderful definitions trace on certain words in certain sections, like example, Tathapi, Anuvarnita. Today you told us the keyword about Kada, when. So your explanation of Tadvag Visargo verse, that's a prediction of the ISKCON in Shrimad Bhagavatam was very wonderful. You connected the current situation of lockdown, like how entire world is under lockdown, but one day will come when we will be alone in the lockdown and on our deathbeds, and others will be free to move around. So let us study Srimad Bhagavatam so that we can remember the Lord, His glories, Srimad Bhagavatam. And he also said falling in love with Krishna means actually falling in love with the verses of Bhagavatam. So you answered varieties of questions. It's very enlivening with your deep study and understanding, deep realizations. Like today, for example, you said bhakti starts only at the real bhava stage. Our sadhana bhakti is nothing but just an acting, but still it is able to give us so much benefit. And that answer on the Pancharatra being subservient to the Bhagavad Vidhi with wonderful day-to-day examples. So I hope and pray on behalf of all the devotees that we have just completed unit 2, and we have total 27 units in this Bhakti Vaibhav till Canto 6. So we eagerly await and look forward to meet you, Prabhuji, for the future sessions.
Definitely.
Your physical presence in Pune. Till that time, we all keep asking ourselves the word you emphasized today, Kada, when. Thank you.
Okay.
So Prabhuji,
Yeah.
our only hankering that we get your personal association. This online is a very limited time. We want your personal association for unlimited time. So we are really grateful for accepting this kind request, and we're waiting for to open this lockdown permanently. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Incarnation. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
We can stop here, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.